Oh, okay, no sweat, sir. But I think I made it work though. So, okay. Good. Okay. I was shot.
Shalom to Israel. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai Brakatham to all the brothers. Yahweh Shema Alathan Bahashim, Yahweh Shai to all the sisters with the Isupk, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Command of General Yohana.
Right.
Since 1969, Isupk has been teaching the truth of the Bible. And that truth includes the fact that so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, and so-called First Nation or Native Indian people are the true Israelites, the true Jews, God's chosen people, the lost sheep of the house of Israel, the future rulers of the planet Earth.
That's right.
Okay? And we stand on this because this is what the Bible teaches in truth, right? The Isupk is the home of the truth, right? The origin of what they call the Hebrew Israelite doctrine.
Right.
So if you're not in the Isupk under Command of General Yohana, you're simply not in the truth.
Yeah.
The Isupk is not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite group, sect, religion. The Isupk stands on its own merit. And we stand on every word that's in the Bible. We don't say this is not good and that's good. Everything in this Bible is the word of God, every word. And we stand on that. And we take on all comers. You understand? It's try to prove us wrong. And you'll never be able to do it. Understand what I'm saying? Because the Isupk is the home of the truth. All right. With that, I say shalom once again. I'm also of 1,000. Yanazar here in beautiful Durham, North Carolina. And tonight I'll be teaching the Isupk Wednesday night law class, right? And this class is specifically for our people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, so-called. But anybody who might want to learn a little something, you understand what I'm saying? Just tune in, stay tuned. Okay, so today, Shalaki, I got something different for you, right? So today, the topic or the title of the class tonight is the protocols and this conspiracy against the chosen, right? So, of course, Israel are the chosen. So we're going to get into the conspiracy aspect of it first in the scriptures, and then we're going to get into these books. Now, this book right here is the book that we're going to get into the most. This book is printed in 1934. You can't even find this book anymore. I had this book for over 30 years, and I thought I lost it, but I found it again. And I had somebody look it up and see if they could find a copy of it, and they could not. Another book. This book is called The Protocols of the Elders of Zion, first of all, right? Which is a stated plan for world domination. And we're going to go into that tonight. And this book here is called The International Jew. The International Jew, and it goes on to tell you how they control the finances of the world, you understand, the media, and other industries. That's totally under their power, and they kind of brag about it. And then the last one is The Secret Relationship. Now, this book is not so hard to find. I think this book was printed in the 90s. The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. That should be interesting, right? But today, what we're going to focus on, here you go, brother, is the protocols of the learned elders of Zion. So we're going to get into that in just a moment. So bear with us. Okay? Okay. But before we get into that, right, I'm going to prove to you, according to the scriptures, that there is an open conspiracy against God's chosen people.
That's right.
Right? So that's the first thing we're going to get into. And then we're going to get into these protocols, right? And I'm going to give you the explanation, the origin, and everything that we need to know. And because there's so much information pertaining to this subject matter, there's definitely going to be a part 2. Okay? So before we get into the protocols and I break it down and explain to you what it is, you understand, I'm going to read some scriptures about the conspiracy, because even though the conspiracy is worldwide and affects all the nations, we're concerned about how it affects our people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, so-called, right? So that's where we're going to go today. That's what we're going to deal with. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to read. You got your sword ready? Give me Ephesians 6 and 12. Ephesians 6 and 12. We're going to go there first, right? And when you get there, brother, I'm trying to get there with you.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Come. This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Right. So what the scripture is saying is that the battle is spiritual, you understand, but we're not battling flesh. You understand? We're battling a totally different spirit that permeates in the highest places of power on the earth. You understand? The most powerful people on the earth that has the influence on the earth is what we're really battling against, because the spirit that they have, you know the old saying, feces rolls downhill.
Right.
You understand? So whatever spirit is at the top, that spirit comes down to the common people. And the people that are affected by it, they don't understand it. They don't understand why the world is in the condition that it's in. They don't understand that when the wicked rule the earth, that there's a wicked spirit that permeates in the earth as well. You understand? Because the Most High judges nations. So it says, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Damn right.
So as we go on in the class, we'll explain to you and point out specific instances and specific origins of where some of this is coming from. Okay? All right? So now, let's go to Psalm 83, and we're going to start at verse 2. Now, everybody's familiar with these particular scriptures, but we're going to put them in a certain context as we're dealing with our subject matter here tonight in Durham, North Carolina, pertaining to the conspiracy, you understand, to blot us out.
Right.
And to destroy us, right? So let's go.
Come. The book of Psalms, Psalm 83, verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
So enemies of God are the same enemies of the children of God. So if they make a loud, riotous noise, you understand what I'm saying? And they've lifted up the head, meaning that they've been exposed, they've shown themselves, and they're proud. They've lifted up the head. You understand what I'm saying? They that hate thee. So they hate God, and so you can't do anything against God.
Right.
But you can do something to his children.
Right.
To his chosen people. Read on.
Come. Verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They have taken crafty counsel. Crafty meaning skillful. They've skillfully counseled together, you understand, to destroy us and to extract whatever they can from us while they're destroying us.
Damn right.
You understand? Read on.
And consulted against thy hidden one.
And they've consulted, meaning, you know what a consultation is. Black people know what consultation is. Hispanic people know what that is.
Right.
Because we're always dealing with the justice system and the penal system. You understand what I'm saying? So we know what a consultation is. It's where they come together and give each other advice on what to do against God's chosen people.
Right.
They consulted together against thy hidden ones. The hidden ones are those who don't know who the hell they are. they're hidden from the earth.
Mm.
Because them being hidden from the earth is part of the whole scheme. And it's going to bear out as we speak on and as we read on. Read on.
Come. Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
That's partially why they're called the hidden ones.
Right.
Because it is the desire of the other nations, some of which we're going to name, to keep us from knowing who we are and to keep the world from knowing who we are. And at the same time, that implies that they know who we are.
Right.
You dig? Right? Read on, brother.
Come. That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
That the name of Israel, the reputation, and the real people that are Israel be no more a nation. You understand? That's part of the plot. That's a very important part of the plot, because if they keep the remembrance of Israel, you understand, from the earth, then that means that they could perpetrate themselves as being Israel. Right? So we're going to get into that. You understand? And that goes along with the topic tonight. Okay, read on, brother.
Come. Verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent.
So they've consulted together with one consent, meaning that they're all in agreement. With one consent means they're all in agreement with it on some level, right? Read on.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee. So they're confederate, or they're conspiring together to work together against God through his people. They are confederate against thee.
That's right.
You know, you had the Confederate States that challenged the Union because they wanted to maintain chattel slavery indefinitely, forever, if they could. So they were confederate. Those Confederate states were working in conjunction against the North to keep slavery going.
Mm-hmm.
So these nations, which we're going to name, we just went out. Yep. I didn't eat. I think it might have been, it might be purposely. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we back. Salakia, we've been having some technical difficulties here. Okay, but just bear with me. So these nations, which we're going to name, you understand, because no nation today, aside from Israel, carries the same name that they carried in the Bible.
Right.
You understand? But we, through the grace of the Most High God in Christ, we know who these nations are because we know what the Bible tells us about them. You understand? So read on.
Come. Verse 6, the book of Psalms, Psalm 83, verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom, meaning the house of Edom.
That's
right. Edom are Edomites, which call themselves, over the last 200 years, 250 years, they've called themselves white people.
That's right.
Those are Edomites. Read on.
Come. And the Ishmaelites.
And Ishmaelites, who are the Arabs, right? Read on.
Of Moab.
Of Moab, who are the Chinese.
And the Hagarenes.
And the Hagarenes is a group, a mixture of Africans and Asiatic people. The Hagarenes. Read on.
Okay. Verse 7. Gabal and Ammon.
So Gabal is another group of Africans, right? And Ammon is Japanese. That's right. Read on.
Okay. And Amalek.
And Amalek. Now, Amalek is the one I want you to pay attention to because Amalek is a tribe of Edomites. So why, after the Edomites are mentioned in this scripture, why is Amalek also mentioned as a separate entity or group?
Right.
Why? When they're Edomites. So why didn't they just say Edom, right? The tabernacles of Edom. Why did they have to mention Amalek? So we're going to get into that.
Right.
Okay. Read on.
Come. The Philistines.
The Philistines.
With
The Philistines was originally a group of Africans that came from Ham,
Come.
right? But there are different people today. You understand? That live there.
That's right.
Read on.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
With the inhabitants of Tyre. That area, Tyre, is like Lebanon. You understand what I'm saying? And what's the other one in Syria, in that area?
Oh.
Right? So now, read on.
Come. Verse 8.
No, that's it.
Oh, come.
So that's one of the best explanations, you understand what I'm saying, and definitions of the conspiracy against Israel.
Damn right.
That's real. So now let's go to Psalm number 2. We're going to read Psalm 2, 1 through 3. So before we go into the information contained in these books, we're going to go to prove that there's a conspiracy against Israel. I think we already proven that, but let's get some more.
Damn right. This book of Psalms, Psalm 2, verse 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?
Why are the heathen, the other nations, enraged? Why are they angry?
Right.
Why are they angry? You understand? That's what rage is. Rage is an act of anger, right? Read on.
Come. Verse 2. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together.
So now the kings of the earth set themselves. When you set yourself, that means you put yourself in a position to do certain things. So you have certain objectives when you set yourself. You understand? You set yourself to hit the ball. You set yourself to shoot the ball.
Right.
You set yourself on a movie set to produce a certain scene, right? That's where we're at. So they set themselves, and the rulers, read it again from the top.
Come. Book of Psalms, Psalm 2, verse 2. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together.
So the rulers, remember, crafty counsel. You understand? The rulers take counsel together. Read.
Come. Against the Lord.
Against the Lord, they that hate thee, you understand, have consulted together against thee. This is it again.
That's right.
Right? Read on.
And against his anointed.
And against his anointed, his chosen, right?
That's right.
Okay, so some people will stop right there and say, well, Christ is the anointed, right? But I'm going to prove to you right now with the next verse that it's talking about the whole nation. Read.
Come. Saying, verse 3, let us break their bands asunder.
Hold on. Their bands.
Come.
See, their bands, their bonds, the things that hold them together. Let's break their bonds, their bands, meaning multiple. So this tells you and implies that it's speaking of a nation of people, a group of people, not one person.
Come.
Okay? Read it again from the top, verse 3.
Come. Book of Psalms, Psalm 2, verse 3. Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us.
You understand? And separate the connection that we have with them as human beings. To cut the cord. You understand what I'm saying? Because Esau and Jacob was feeding off from the same cord. So let's cut the cord, the connection of life from us and them. You understand? Read on.
Come. Verse 4.
Nope, that's it on that. You understand? So these scriptures that I'm giving you are pertaining to the conspiracy to destroy God's chosen people. You understand what I'm saying? So that's at the basis of what we're going to prove tonight in what we call the protocols and the conspiracy against God's chosen, right?
Come.
So now, in every conspiracy, there has to be a leader, right?
Right.
So we're going to read a couple of more verses to explain who the leader of all of this is, and even we're going to prove it even with their own words. Okay?
Come.
So give me Revelations 2:9 and then 3:9. Revelations 2:9 plus 3:9. We're going to read now.
Come.
If you could, Bob. Okay. So In the meantime, right, while the brother's looking up the scriptures, you understand what I'm saying? We're going to identify all the players or all the actors
I got you.
in the show. Okay?
Damn right. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich.
So he's talking about us. Of course, this is Christ talking about us. He knows our tribulations and our trials and our poverty.
That's
right? Read on.
Come. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews.
So there's some people that are blaspheming, saying that they're Jews. They're lying about them being Jews.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? Right? That's what the scriptures say. That's what Christ says. They're lying about being Jews. Read.
Say they are Jews and are not.
But they're not really Jews. They're not really God's chosen people. Read.
But are the synagogue of Satan.
So I want you to pay a particular attention to that word, the synagogue of Satan. What does that mean? Right? So we look up the word synagogue, you'll see that it means the chief house or the house of authority.
Right.
Of Satan, meaning of the devils. So this particular people who are pretending to be Jews are the chief devils. And I'm going to show it to you in their own words in their own book that they wrote. You understand? Is that it on 3?
Come on, concert.
Right? So.
Oh, no. It's like that was 2 and 9. So
Yeah. That was it on 9?
Yeah, 2 and 9.
So now give me 3 and 9.
Come. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan.
I will make the chief devil, the synagogue of Satan, the chief house of Satan or of the devil. I will make them, read,
which say they are Jews.
Which say they are Jews.
And are not.
And are not.
But do lie.
But they are liars. You understand?
That's right.
Read.
Come. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
You understand? When they fall, they're going to fall hard. But when it's all over, you, so-called black, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Indians, you're going to know that the Most High have loved you all along. You understand? When these people fall, you understand? And they're going to come and bow down and worship at your feet. At least at Christ's feet.
That's right.
At the least. You understand? Right?
That's right.
So let's get, let's go to, so these are the chief devils. So let me show you another scripture in the Bible. Give me 2nd Ezra 12 and 24. Let me get there with you.
Come.
2nd Ezra 12 and 24. Okay? Let me know when you're there. Okay. Now, this is another scripture pertaining to the chief devils, and we're going to break it down as we go. Go ahead and read.
Come. The second book of Ezra, chapter 12, verse 24. And of those that dwell therein, with much oppression, above all those that were before them. Therefore are they called the heads of the eagle.
You understand? The heads of, so we know that the eagle is in charge now, right? We know that the eagle in Obadiah and in other books, where even in the Wisdom of Solomon, where they talk about the eagle being the ruling symbol of the earth, right? So within the eagle, there are a people that are the chief head, you understand, of the eagle. They're the chief head of the eagle. Therefore, are they called the head of the eagle?
Right.
So the people that have dominion among that nation that is called the eagle, you understand, there's a head on that eagle. And that head is talking about the people or the tribe that rules over them. You understand? Read verse 25.
Come. Verse 25. For these are they that shall accomplish his wickedness, and that shall finish his last end.
You understand? Meaning, these are the ones that's going to take the evilness that they are prescribed on doing or prescribed to do. to its highest level, and they're going to complete the wickedness. You understand that the Most High is going to allow in the earth. Read it again.
Book of 2 Ezra, chapter 12, verse 25. For these are they that shall accomplish his wickedness, and that shall finish his last end.
You understand? That shall finish his last end. Meaning when they accomplish whatever they setting out to do, and whatever time we went out again.
I know. I'm doing nothing.
I know. It's just like, okay, Most High in Christ. Okay, so hey, if we lose visual, I don't know. We don't know what's going on. You understand? Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Okay, so we're trying to prevent the screen from going out in a discontinuation. So they become the head of the eagle. You understand? So there's a nation within the eagle itself that's the leader of the eagle. The head is the leader.
Right.
The head makes the decisions. The head tells you what direction you're going to go in. Right?
Okay.
So that's the whole point. Right? So with these scriptures here, you understand that they shall have dominion and they shall be the head of the eagle. Right? One more before we get into our topic directly. Give me Ezekiel 22 and 29. Ezekiel 22 and 29. Baba Kashah. All right, because what I'm doing here is I'm giving you pieces of a puzzle, as we always do, so that you can understand exactly who we're talking about when we get into the other part of our topic tonight, which is the protocols and the conspiracy against the chosen, right?
That's right.
Ezekiel 22 and 29, Baba Kashah, read that.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 22, verse 29. The people of the land have used oppression and exercised robbery and have vexed the poor and the needy. Yea, they have oppressed the stranger wrongfully.
You understand? So they use oppression and robbery. That's exactly what they're doing to us.
That's right.
They're oppressing us. Like, you know, I don't know, like, you ever seen, like, when you, like, just take a, let's say a lemon. If you press that lemon until the juice come out, you're robbing that lemon of its juice, and you're pressing it till it comes out, and then the lemon is of no value no more.
Right.
Once you get that juice out. So that's just a little small analogy on how oppression works. Oppression is harassment, pressure through harassment, injustice through harassment.
Right.
That's what oppression is. And then robbery is while you're being oppressed or pressed upon, they steal whatever they can from you, even your name, your culture, your heritage. Everything that you produce, the oppressor makes more money off it than you do.
Right.
You understand? If they can pay LeBron James $150 million a year or $200 million a year, they're making $200 billion off of him.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about here. That's the oppression. I don't care. Oprah's oppressed, LeBron's oppressed. All of these rich black folks are oppressed just like us. They've just been allowed to make money because what they're doing is beneficial to the oppressor.
Oh, God.
Nothing that they're doing is beneficial to us at all as a nation. A few individuals will get paid, but our nation doesn't benefit from it. Whereas in other nations, when they have rich people, their people benefit from those rich in their nation. That's the difference, right? Okay. All right. So now with that being said, right, we're going to get into the protocols of the elders of Zion, right? And so where we're going to begin, right, I'm going to give you information as to exactly what it was and what happened historically, Okay, so in August 29th, right,
Come on.
through the August 29th through the 31st in 1897, they held what was known as the First Zionist Conference or Congress. And it was held in Switzerland, right? And it was chaired by a man named Theodore Herzl. Now, this is a very famous small hat in history. Theodore Herzl. He's very prominent, right? So at this meeting, at this Congress or conference, they came up with the protocols of the elders of Zion, which means the objective. A protocol is an objective, right? And so what they came up with basically is 24 objectives that if they were able to achieve them, and they have, would give them rulership over the earth. The chief head of the eagle, the chief devil, the synagogue of Satan. You understand? So that's what it is. First Zionist Congress, August 29th to the 31st, 1897. I believe it was, I had it written down, but I lost that page exactly where it occurred. I believe it was in a town in Switzerland. And then they had another conference later on in Russia, in Odessa, Russia. Okay? So now, if you could, Baba Kashar, pass me the book real quick. I'm going to pass it right back to you. Because this book, if you can read at the bottom, it's translated directly from the Russian. You understand? That's what it says right here. It says, translated from the Russian of Nilis by Victor Marsden, late Russian correspondent of the Morning Post. So he translated it from Russian into English. Here you go, brother. So now we're going to get into the book itself, and we're going to give you an idea of what we're talking about and see how these scriptures that we just read relate to this particular subject matter, right? So first of all, we'll start on page 9. Read the highlighted paragraph on page 9. Baba Kashar.
From the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, page 9. And that is where the Jewish question begins. It begins in very simple terms. How does the Jew so habitually and resistlessly gravitate to the highest places?
So what it's saying is there's a question about the Jew, and the question is, how does the Jew rise to the top in every field of endeavor? That's the question, right? Read on.
What puts him there?
What puts him there? How does he get there? What puts him at the top? You understand? Read on.
Why is he put there?
Why is he at the top? You understand? So, and is that it on that part?
Allah, sir.
Read on.
What does he do there?
What does he do there? So these are all pertinent questions, right? Which we just really answered these questions in the Bible. Because as you have an eagle or a nation that is described as the eagle, there has to be a head. There has to be somebody in charge.
Right.
That's why he's there. That's why Christ called him the synagogue or the chief house of Satan.
Right.
The chief devils. You understand? Is that it on that? Read on.
What does the fact of his being there mean to the world?
What does the fact that he's on top mean to the rest of the world? Now, this is written in, these are their own words. You understand? This is just translated into English. That's all. Just like the Bible was translated from Hebrew into English. Read. So why is he there? What is the position there? What's he doing there at the head of the eagle? Read.
There is just an Slack, there is just as great an obligation upon the Jew to show his humanity toward the whole race.
You understand? He has an obligation because he's at the head. You understand? To show his humanity to other men. But it's a fraud.
Right.
It's fraudulent. And I'm going to prove it. It's all fraudulent. You understand what I'm saying? Because they run around pretending to be God's chosen people. And that they care about humanity, which they don't care anything about humanity.
That's right.
They care about themselves.
Right.
That's it on page 9. I'm talking about the highlighted part.
Yeah, second.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Read on, brother. Salakia.
Come on. The Jew has been too long accustomed to think of himself as exclusively the claimant on the humanitarianism of society.
So the Jew, right? Hold on a second. I'm trying to get the visual back. I'm shaking the thing. Okay, we back. Okay. So read that part again.
Come
We were interrupted.
The Jew has been too long accustomed to think of himself as exclusively the claimant on the humanitarianism of society.
Right. So he's been allowed to be the one that dictates what humanitarianism is.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And he's been on that boat for a long time. You understand? Like he's been the measure of what humanity is because he has perpetrated the fraud of being God's chosen people. And of course, God's chosen people have to be humane. You understand? Any more? Read on.
Come. Society has a large claim against him.
The society claims against him because he perpetrates as being humane, but his actions show something other than being humane. Right. Or having love or respect to uplift humanity. Read.
Come. A large claim against him that he seeks his exclusiveness.
He seeks his exclusiveness. You see, that's part of it.
That's right.
At one point, they're trying to show that they're the leaders or the vanguard of humanity, but in reality, it's about them.
Right.
It's about them, their exclusiveness. You understand what I'm saying? Because they've taken our records and the value of exclusiveness, of being holy, set apart, separate. They know the value of it. And their whole race or their whole tribe has benefited from it.
Right.
As they perpetrate the fraud. You understand? So now, there's a little bit more, and then we're going to go to the next page because I'm telling you, you're going to hear some good stuff in here tonight.
Come. That he cease exploiting the world.
That they saying they want him to stop exploiting the world because this is in 1934, and already, you understand, almost 92 years ago, right? If my math is correct, or 94 years ago, right? He was already recognized as exploiting the earth. Read that part again.
That he cease exploiting the world.
Understand? Yeah, they want us to stop exploiting the world, but hey, we got news for you. You understand? So now, let's go to page 12. Read the paragraph, and I'm telling you, this is, you hear Captain Tazariak say diabolical. This is diabolical. Read.
Come. From the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, page 12. Then why not discuss the upper group as financiers and not as Jews?
Right. Why not discuss the controllers of the financial world? Just say that they're Jews. Don't say that they're the upper crust. Just say that they're Jews. Read on.
Come. It may be asked, because they are Jews.
It may be asked because they are Jews. Meaning that the head of the financial world, and you're going to get some more, are Jews.
That's right.
The whole world. And I'm going to prove it. Read.
It is not to the point to insist that in any list of rich men there are more Gentiles than Jews.
It's no use of saying amongst the richest men of the world that there's more Gentiles than Jews. Why? Read.
We are not talking about merely rich men who have, many of them, gained their riches by serving a system.
Right. So they get their riches by serving a system, right? Systemic oppression. Read.
We are talking about those who control.
We're talking about those who control the whole shebang.
Right.
The head of the eagle. Read.
And it is perfectly apparent.
It's perfectly clear and apparent
that merely to be rich is not to control.
Just having money doesn't give you power. Doesn't give you control. You got to have more than money. Read.
The world controlling Jew has riches.
The world controlling Jew has riches, but he has more than riches. Let's see. Read.
But he also has something much more powerful than that.
You understand? He has the money, but he has something much more powerful than that.
Good.
Read.
Verse page 13. But another fact would intervene, namely that these world controlling Jews are not notably religious.
They're not religious. The ones that really have the power, they're not religious Jews. They're not them Hasidics out in Brooklyn.
Right.
Walking around with black clothes on because the scripture says they are black. Perpetrating the fraud.
Good night.
Wherever you see them, whether in Brooklyn, I just say Brooklyn because Brooklyn has they have a whole section of Brooklyn with their own security force, their own hospital, their own ambulance service.
Damn.
You understand? If you from Brooklyn, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
So read on.
And still another fact would hammer for recognition, namely the most devout believers and most obedient followers of the Jewish religion are the poorest among the Jews.
So what they're saying is the real rich is the Jews that are really powerful and have money. They're not the religious Jews. The religious Jews are the poor people of the Jews, and they're not even poor compared to us.
Damn.
That's what he's saying. The Jews that follow religion of Judaism are the poor faction of their nation. But the ones that hold the power and the riches are not religious at all. Hollywood.
Damn.
Wall Street.
Right.
The insurance industry. All of this. We're going to get it. Lord allow. Right? So that was just a synopsis of it. Right? That's it on 13.
There's a little bit more.
Finish 13. Then we're going to go to page 19. Right? And I mean, I'm going to tell you, I've read this book, and it is diabolical. And the proof is that when we go through the protocols, right, the simple proof to show that it's real is that they've already accomplished the protocols, the 24 protocols. They've accomplished all 24 of them. Read.
If you want Jewish orthodoxy, the bracing morality of the Old Testament, you will find it not among the successful Jews.
You understand? The rich, if you want to find any kind of morality that's taught in the Bible, it's not going to be taught. It's not, they don't accept it amongst the rich and famous and powerful so-called Jew. They don't give a damn about morality. That's what they're saying. But those Jews that are trying to follow the Torah, poorly, I might add.
That's right.
You understand? They are not rich, and they're struggling with morality, but the real powerful ones have no morality at all.
That's right.
You understand? The Bible is just a front to them. Any more? Go to page 19, Baba Kashah.
Page 19 of the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. Does a definite Jewish world program exist?
Does a program exist? This is in 1934 they're asking. They're asking and answering all their own questions, if you haven't noticed. Is there, read it again.
Does a definite Jewish world program exist?
Is there really a program that the Jews are doing? Does it exist? Is it real or is it Memorex? Is it something that they just made up? Read.
Khan. Whether the Jew knows it or not, every Gentile knows that on his side of the Jewish question, no religious prejudice exists.
Understand? So the thing that they're doing is not prejudice against any particular religion. That's why you have freedom of religion. It doesn't matter. You can do your religion because your religion ain't going to do nothing against us.
Right.
You can have your religion. We are not prejudiced against. You can be a Muslim. You could be a Christian, a Buddhist. But you can't be an Israelite, though. Because we are not a religion. You understand?
Okay.
Religion is not against them. They know how to control religion because they are the authors of what we call religion today. Read.
Good night.
Any more on that?
Yeah, Khan.
Read.
Economic jealousy may exist.
Economic jealousy may exist, meaning the other nations may be jealous of us because of our economic premise, domination, power, ability. The other nations are jealous of us because we've accumulated all this money and wealth and power. Read on.
At least to this extent, that his uniform success has exposed the Jew to much scrutiny.
Yeah, see, even though he tried to hide it, but his
Right.
success speaks for itself.
That's right.
Because you can't get to these positions. Remember what he asked in the previous page. You understand? Is there a Jewish program? Right? Yes.
Khan.
He's telling you what it is. Read.
Khan. A few Jewish spokesmen seek to turn this scrutiny by denying that the Jew is preeminent in finance.
So they'll say, man, y'all always talking about we control the banking system. That's not true. Look, they got John Simmons over there. John Simmons is a Jew. He just changed his name. And I'm going to show you. You understand? So they'll say, hey, look, if you look at the names, these are not all Jews. Yes, they are. They're going to tell you. We're going to get it. Read.
Khan. But this loyalty in extremity. This is loyalty in extremity.
It's loyalty in extremity, meaning that everybody is loyal, is down with it.
Right.
That's the loyalty that they have demanded. You understand what I'm saying? Through the exertion of their power and their influence over anybody that stands in their way.
That's right.
Read.
Khan. The finances of the world are in control of the Jews.
Read it again.
The finances of the world are in control of Jews.
Read it one more time.
The finances of the world are in control of Jews.
So now, the finances of the world are in control of the Jews, meaning that the Jews control the financial system of the earth.
Right.
Now, I'm going to give you an example on how they did it. Right? They created what was called a series of national banks, central banks in each nation. So, if you remember, when they went after Gaddafi, it was 3 nations that was left that was not part of the system, meaning that they didn't have a national bank, a bank that was controlled by Jews. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about as we go on, right? And those nations was Iran, Iraq, and Libya. They already knocked off Iraq and Libya. They're part of the system now. See, those are the parts of the war that they never tell you about. That once they destroy these nations, they absorb them into their financial system. They institute a central bank. The central bank in America is called the Federal Reserve. We're going to bring that out in just a moment in case you didn't know. Okay? So now all of the nations of the earth are going to be under their financial system. Even China. Read.
Khan. Their decisions and their devices are themselves our economic law.
You understand? Whatever they do, their decision and their devices, the means by which they carry out whatever it is they do, is according to the economic law that we've laid down, that we've given them. Because why? We're behind the scene pulling all the strings.
Right.
That's why Donald Trump could come in and say he's the president that's going to end all the wars. And now he can't shit without their permission.
Right.
Understand? Because they got to take Iran down so that they can steal the rest of the Middle East. The Iranians were the only military power that had any kind of chance to stand up to them for a minute. And so the so-called Jew has manipulated America and to send your sons and your daughters over there to do their bidding, to destroy Iran, and so all the nations of the earth will come under their economic power. You think I'm making it up? You'll see. Any more? Okay, so now, with that business, read that last part again. This is page 19 still, right?
Yeah, come on.
Right, okay.
Their decisions and their devices are themselves our economic law.
That's right. The economics of this world are run by them because they're the chief head of the eagle. You understand? They're the synagogue of Satan, the chief house of Satan, or the chief devil. All of this is pointing to the same information. The Most High gave it to us. We have to accept it. You understand? And we teach it. Give me page 61. What's on page 61? You understand?
Okay. Page 61 of the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. Jewish idea for Central Bank of America.
A Jewish idea for a central bank in America. So what they're going to do is tell you how they got America under their power. And I'm going to tell you, before he even reads, I'm going to tell you this. The Federal Reserve Act of 1913. In 1913, on Christmas Eve, while most of the congressmen and senators was on vacation, they brought in and passed by a quorum, meaning only a certain percentage, I think it's 75% of those who were attending, had to vote it in. And they voted in which something that was called the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. And what it essentially does, it took the power away from Congress to create money and to regulate money. And now this central bank, which is not a federal entity at all, is a private bank owned by Jews.
Good night.
And they're going to tell you this right now. And before that, the dollar was the strongest currency on earth because it was backed by gold. Every dollar that they printed, they had gold to match it. But once the Federal Reserve Act became law, you no longer had gold for every dollar. You know what you had? You had the United States military backing the dollar. That's why the dollar is like, if you had $10,000 in 1930, you was a millionaire, damn near. If you had 100,000, Slovakia. If you had $100,000 in 1930 or 1915, you was a millionaire today. But the dollar has inflated. Why? Because, let me tell you why. It's very simple. Because we have to pay them a percentage of every dollar that they print. So it's in their interest to print more dollars because they making money even on the printing of the dollar. And the Federal Reserve sets the value of the dollar. That's why what you paid for, I remember, you understand, in 1965, you can buy a house in New York for $35,000. You understand? Here it is. 60 years later, 55 years later, that same house is worth $1 million. That's called inflation. And therefore, I remember there was an episode, what was the name of that show when, what's his name? What's the white boy name? What was going on? He was taking over the world. He was bald-headed. Um, they made two parts. One part they had Beyonce playing in it.
Oh, Austin Powers.
Yeah, Austin Powers. And when there was a scene when they went back in history, and he asked for $1 gazillion. And the guy said that money doesn't even exist. Because in the 60s, there wasn't even any billionaires. There was millionaires. So now they created more money so that they could be billionaires. They've done this very skillfully. So now we're going to read what they're saying about it.
Come. With the principal Jewish financial firm here and immediately floating certain banking ideas, which have pushed and manipulated and variously adapted until they have eventuated in what is known as the Federal Reserve System.
You understand? That's the system. What the system is a group of central banks that appear to be government banking systems, but they're really controlled by private families.
Right.
Your money, your dollars, your Federal Reserve is nothing federal about it but the name.
Come.
You understand?
That's what this next part says.
Yeah, read on.
Come. What the people of the United States do not understand and never have understood is that while the Federal Reserve Act was governmental, the whole Federal Reserve System is private. It is an officially created private banking system.
Read that last part again, Baba Kashab.
Come. It is an officially created private banking system.
You understand? It's officially created through the Federal Reserve Act. It's created officially, but in reality, it's a private banking system.
Right.
Run by private people that you'll never know their names.
Mm-hmm.
They're richer than, what's the richest man in the world's name?
But it's like, so these are the 1% that they talk about?
Yeah, these are the people that you never know their names. You understand? Like, they got the richest guy, what's his name, from South Africa? Elon Musk. Is that his name?
Yeah, come.
They're richer than him.
Damn.
They're richer than him, but you don't know it. They don't advertise like Elon Musk.
They're richer than Apple.
You understand? Read on.
Oh, that was
Okay, so that was 61, right? Now read 63.
God.
Then we're going to go into directly what the protocols or the objectives are.
Come.
Okay? Let me see. Do we got any questions? Let me see if we got chat on.
No questions.
All right. Okay.
Come.
Any questions? Right. Okay. Go ahead.
Come. Page 63 of the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. Mr. Warburg, it will be remembered, wanted only one central bank. But because of political considerations, as Professor Seligman tells us, 12 were decided upon.
So they didn't want to make it look like it was one bank. And they're going to tell you where they was going to put the first one was, of course, in New York City. But they said if there's only one central bank, then people are going to get suspicious.
Right.
People were going to be suspicious of that one bank, especially if it's in New York. You understand what I'm saying? The treasure city, right? Read on.
Come. Eventually, 12 were established.
So they made 12 regional banks, with New York being the headquarters. I think it's Dallas, Denver, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Seattle, 12 of them across the country. But all of them are the links in the system that's known as the Federal Reserve Bank.
Come.
And the federal government doesn't own any of them. And proof to the point is when Donald Trump wanted to fire everybody, he was able to fire everybody except for the people that work for the Federal Reserve.
Good night.
Now, am I lying or am I flying? The Supreme Court said you can fire whoever you want, Donald. But you can't fire those people that work for that Federal Reserve because you don't have dominion over them. That's a fact. That happened last month, y'all.
Damn.
You understand? If you're paying attention. Yanazar is paying attention because the men above me taught me how to pay attention.
Most High in Christ.
The scriptures teaches us how to pay attention. That we are the seers, right?
Damn right, sir.
Okay. That's it on 63?
La, sir.
Okay, read on.
Khan. The reason was that one central bank, which naturally would be set up in New York.
In where?
In New York.
Read.
Would give a suspicious country the impression that it was only a scheme.
So that people would be suspicious if the head bank was in New York because they didn't trust them New Yorkers, them damn Yankees. Ain't nothing but thieves. You
Right.
understand? That was the idea or the attitude of the country because all the money was situated in New York and Wall Street. So they wanted to take the pressure off of that, and so they set up banks, 12 banks around the country. Read on.
Khan. A new scheme to keep the nation's money flowing to New York.
You understand? It was a new way of keeping the money to flow into Wall Street, where they are the investors, you understand, and have the investments. And they dictate who's going to make money and where.
Right.
You understand? Read on.
Khan. That is, the 12 banks could be so handled that the effect would be the same as if there were only one central bank, presumably.
Read that part again, because that's heavy right there.
Khan. That is, the 12 banks could be so handled that the effect would be the same as if there were one, it's like only one central bank.
So the effect of all the money being sent to these other 12 banks, it still finally finds itself in New York.
Right.
At the central bank. You understand? And the whole thing is Wall Street is a main player in how it works. You understand? So that is the banking system where everything flows to the top.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? And it's been cunningly devised and perpetrated and operated. Now we're reading about the level that they were on in 1934 when this book was printed or translated from Russian into English. Any more? So now we're going to go into the actual protocol, right? So let's go to page 144, the control of politics. So now that's, yeah, let me hold it because I didn't highlight that page. Okay, so we go to 143 first. And page 143, right? It says, now this is protocol number 1. They have this listed, or the first objective, right? And it says, right lies in might. Understand? So in order for you to impose yourself upon another person, tell them what's right, you have to be stronger than them. You have to be stronger than another nation, right? It says, an idea only, liberalism, gold, faith, self-governing, despotism. I'm going to get into that word. Despotism is what's going on in America today. The word despotism is a form of government where a single person or small group rules with absolute power. That's what they're setting up with Trump. You understand? Okay, now, the right of the strong, the invincibility of the Jew Masonic authority in the end justifies the means, meaning whatever they do to get to where they want to get justifies what they're doing. Now, let me skip down because I can't read the whole book. Now, I want you to read on that page, and after that, you're going to have to pass it back to me. Read all of the highlight versions on 43 and 44. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to bring you as much as I can, but this is protocol objective number one, which is the control of politics, not just in the United States, but worldwide. And what's the proof? What example can I give to prove this to you that they've achieved this? That there's not one single leader on the planet Earth, head of state, that would dare say anything against them.
Damn.
That's the proof in itself. That's the proof. Anybody that's of any influence that says anything against them is destroyed.
Right.
Or discredited at the least. That's the proof. You understand? They control the politics. Every time there's an election, CNN puts all of these black people up there and make them seem like they're liberal. It's a trap.
Right.
All of those black people you see on CNN, they ain't nothing but low-paid or high-paid employees doing their bidding. They want you to believe, you understand, that they are working for you. You understand that they're giving you information when in fact all they're doing, you understand what I'm saying, is giving you the lie and making you think that they're liberal and progressive when they're just two wings of the same bird. CNN works in conjunction with Fox. Fox is the right wing and CNN is the left. And in the middle is, hey, shalom, bro. And in the middle is the bird. You got the right wing, the left wing, the bird. And at the top of the bird is the head of the eagle. The chief devils, the decision makers, the policy takers. You understand? You got 43?
Yeah. Oh, you want 43, not 42, sir?
That's 42?
Yeah.
Okay, read that.
Come
Then
on,
go to
come.
43.
Come on, sir. It must be noted that men with bad instincts are more in number than the good, and therefore the best results in governing them are attained by violence and terrorism. That's like a terrorization.
You understand? What this means, right, is like what they're saying is there's more wicked men than righteous men. So the best way to control them is through terrorization, meaning that if you're a sexual deviant, they got you on camera.
Right.
If you're a sexual deviant, you understand what I'm saying? They got the video. You understand? Or they have evidence to control you. That's why they got Trump. That's why you ain't hearing nothing about the Epstein files, because Trump is doing whatever the hell they tell him to do.
Right.
That's why. I read an article, and Officer Nadiab showed me where Trump is mentioned in the Epstein file in over 3 million documents over 39,000 times. I don't know what this is. Well, why this?
It's back.
Okay, back over there.
Yeah. No.
This interruptions is something beyond our control. We haven't figured it out yet, but just bear with us. It comes right back.
Come on.
But whatever they want Trump to do, you understand what I'm saying? He does it. Understand? Even though this war in the Middle East is costing all of us mad money.
That's right.
Beef, meat, fish, gasoline, everything that we need now is being rationed out, meaning they're making more money off of it. You think if the price of gas is going up and he's making less profit? Hell no. You're absorbing all of the costs of the war that he's perpetrating, you understand what I'm saying, to rob you. Remember what the scripture says. Through oppression and robbery. You understand? That was one of the first scriptures that we brought out.
That's right.
That's Ezekiel 22 and 29. The people of the land have used oppression and have exercised robbery. That's what's going on in the Middle East. Do you think that it hurts them? Hell no. It doesn't hurt them at all because they are rich and you are not. You think $5 a gallon of gas hurts them? I hope you don't, but it hurts me.
That's right.
It hurts you.
That's right.
You understand? Read on.
Khan. What has restrained the beasts of prey who are called men?
What has restrained the beast of prey? See, you know the Bible calls all the nations beasts.
That's right.
So what restrains the beast? What controls the beast of the prey? The predator. What controls him? Read.
Khan. In the beginnings of the structure of society, they were subjected to brutal and blind force.
You understand? You beat them down. That's how you get first control of the beast, because the beast only respects power. Thus, wars. All of these things were achieved through wars. They manipulated and created wars, man.
Right.
Just like they're doing right now. And that war was created with an objective. One of the objectives is to bring Iran into the banking system. They already got Libya. They already got Afghanistan. Those are I think it's one more country. And Cuba was trying to hold out too. You understand? Read on.
Khan. Afterwards, to law, which is the same force, only disguised.
You understand? The law is the same force, meaning law is brutal because they're able to enforce it, whether it's just or not.
Right.
You have to adhere to it. And when we go on later, we're going to see that the laws are written in a way ambiguous, meaning that they can be interpreted any way they want to interpret it. That's what ambiguity means. It's nothing solid and concrete. You can interpret it one week, you can interpret it this way, and the next week you can interpret it another way. That's what the Supreme Court is doing when they take away your rights.
Damn right.
Because it's ambiguous. Right? Read on.
Khan. I draw the conclusion that by the law of nature, right lies in force.
You understand? It doesn't matter about no law. If you got the power, might, like a lion, the lion don't care what the gazelle think. The lion go and kill that gazelle and devours him. That's all it is. The law of nature. Whoever's the strongest rules, right, and imposes his will on the weak. But they forgot about the Lord. They don't believe in the Lord. They don't think that the Lord exists. They use religion as a smokescreen.
Right.
You understand? Because if you believed in the Most High for real, or you believe that there's a God, then you wouldn't have this at all. You wouldn't. They don't believe in no God. They're the synagogue of Satan. They're being led astray. And Satan is sitting on their right hand right now, like the scripture says. Understand? Let Satan sit at his right hand. You understand? And that's what's happening in this earth today. Right? Any more?
Nah, sir. That's
okay, so that was page 1. Now let's turn to give me the book. I think I didn't get a chance to highlight 44. Oh, it is one highlighted? Yeah. I want you to read that. Yeah, that's one. Now you heard what I was just talking about, so let's hear it from their point of view, from their own mouths. Read that, brother. This is protocol number 2. Objective number 2.
Protocol number 2. Economic wars.
Economic wars. Because if you create economic wars, right? Then you're profiting from the economic wars. Why? Because you're loaning both sides the money.
Wow.
That's why. So I saw this movie. It was Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr. And in this movie, there was a man, the villain in this movie was trying to start World War II. And the reason why he was trying to start World War II is because all of his investments was in the arms companies and, you understand, all of the medical field. So he was to profit from the bullets and the Band-Aids.
Damn.
And in order for him to do that, he was starting World War II. And there's a lot of truth to that because we're going to read about it right now. Go ahead and read.
Come. The foundation of the Jewish predominance.
The foundation of Jewish predominance. Read.
Figurehead government and secret advisors.
Figurehead governments. Trump is a figurehead.
Right.
But what secret advisors? They're telling him what to do. He's just a figurehead.
Damn.
He's the perfect ploy. The Most High put him there for a reason. I don't hate that Trump is there. I love it. You know why? Yeah, we're suffering. But the Most High is going to get what he wants out of these devils. He's going to show us who these devils are. And they all, every last one of them, are going into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
That's right.
That's what's getting ready to happen, y'all. You see, they're never going to have peace in the Middle East. Never. Till Christ return. Read on.
Come. Successes of destructive doctrines. Adaptability in politics.
You understand? Success is a destructive doctrine. Ain't that a hell of a statement?
Right.
Success to them is a destructive doctrine. So meaning their success is based on the destruction of others.
Right.
You understand? It's a destructive process. Read on.
Come. Part played by the press.
Partly played by the press. And of course, one of their protocols, I'm not going to get ahead of the game, is relating to the press and the control thereof.
Come.
What we got? Any more?
Come, sir.
Go ahead.
Cost of gold and value of Jewish sacrifice.
You understand? The cost of gold and the value of Jewish sacrifice. In other words, what he's trying to tell you is that they control gold. Yeah, let's cut to the chase. That's what he's talking about. You understand what I'm saying? They control gold. You understand? And when the federal, most of y'all are too young to remember this, but back in the 70s and the 80s, there was a big outcry because once this Federal Reserve system became prominent and successful in what it was doing, people were claiming that all the gold that was in Fort Knox was taken. And for many years, they would not allow anybody to go and see the gold. And I think one of the presidents, perpetrated a fraud and went down there and said he saw all the gold. I think it was Clinton. You understand what I'm saying? But that gold is gone. You're not on the gold standard anymore, so why you got the gold down in there? The gold standard was that every dollar you print, you had gold to back it up.
That's right.
That went out the window in 1913 with the Federal Reserve Act. Okay? Any more?
Come. Oh, no, not on that.
Okay, so economic wars. That's what these wars are about. What are economic wars? It's just to start wars so that they can make money.
Right.
The wars seem like it's economic. That's why every night they're saying, well, they spent $72 billion on this war. While they're profiting from the bullets and the Band-Aids.
That's right.
Why is it that Trump and his sons are making so much money? Because they know where to invest their money. There was an article about 3 months ago, I brought it out, that's saying there was a small group of anonymous, investors that made millions off of 100% of their investments, which is scientifically impossible unless you know exactly what's going to happen. You understand? So what they've done, I'm just trying to bring it out to understand, like, we as oppressed people, right? You understand what I'm saying? We're at the target. We're at the center of all of this because we're the ones that's suffering more robbery and more oppression than the others. That's why it's important to understand, right? So now, any more? Protocol 3, let's get it. That's what, page 152? Come on.
Page 152 of the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. Protocol number 3, the symbolic snake and its significance.
The symbolic snake. Remember when America was in its infancy, the first flag was a 13-part snake. You understand? So Americans still believe that America is a Christian nation.
Good night.
That is a joke.
Right.
America wasn't started by Christians. America was started by Masons and Jews.
Damn.
They perpetrated Christianity, but remember what they said: freedom of religion.
Right.
If it was a Christian nation, then you would have to be a Christian. If it was a Muslim nation, then you would have to be a Muslim, right?
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? So read on.
The instability of the constitutional scales.
You understand the instability of the constitutional scale, meaning they set it up where they could change it or interpret it any way they want. That's the snake.
Wow.
You understand? The Constitution, DEI, right? It was legal 4 years ago, but it ain't legal no more.
Right.
You understand? What is it? What they call it? When I can't think of the term. Affirmative action.
Right.
It was law 4 years ago, but it ain't no more because the laws pertaining to these matters was written ambiguously, meaning whoever was in power can interpret it any way they want it.
That's right.
You understand? That's why they have lawyers, liars. You understand? Read on.
Terror in the palaces.
Understand? Secret society and social manipulation is what they're doing.
Wow.
You understand? Like these people, these congressmen, you understand, and these senators, they ain't doing nothing but the bidding. Do you know that a percentage, I think 80% of the senators are honorary members of the Israeli Knesset?
Damn.
Honorary. That means you licking the boots.
Right.
You understand? Read on.
The army of Mason Jewry.
So Mason Jewry, meaning that the Jews are really the control of the secret society at the top is really Jews.
Damn.
They control Masonry because what is it? It's non-religious. It's secular. It's secretive. It has power throughout, particularly in the legal system. You understand? And the justice system. They all Masons, most of them. But they don't realize at the top they're working for the Jews, except when they get to those high degrees. Wow. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
How much time we got? Oh, we got a little half an hour.
Okay, no sign crack.
Right? Any more? Is there anything on? That's 52, right?
Yeah, it's still 52, sir. I got it.
A little bit more? Okay, read.
The crescents of the Goyim. Hunger and rights of capital.
So the Goyim are the other nations that are set up in the system. Read on.
Part played by secret Masonic agents.
You understand? So they keep everything rolling and, they keep everything going with these secret societies. Wow. You understand? And the people on the bottom are in these sororities and what do you call the other ones? Fraternities and sororities. Those are the lowest ranking ones. Okay. But then when you get up higher, you become a Mason by various degrees, right? And these people are in the court system. They're everywhere. That's what this is talking about. And they're the ones that set society in motion the way that they want to.
Selected, sir. So fraternities are directly connected to Mason.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. And you'll find that most members of the Masons are in fraternities. I remember in Harlem, right? They used to what do you call it? The initiates, right? They used to make them dress like women and march them around Harlem, and we used to laugh at them. I never forget that. And so that's, you understand what I'm saying? What they're talking about here, like they set all of this up. This is in 1934 when this book was written. But there's a lot more. We're just getting to the one of the veins that feeds the head of the eagle. Because in the Bible, they're called the head of the eagle. They're called the synagogue of Satan or the chief devils. Understand? We call them small hats. Shalom, Yahba Shema, Shabbarakatah. Yahba Shema. Okay. So have this stuff over there. You can get that in the class. Okay, because I got another brother. His stuff is over there too. You good to go though? Okay. So the symbolic snake, secret societies, manipulations. That's it on 52?
Lies, sir.
Read on.
Colonel Khan. Today, I may tell you that our goal is now only a few steps off.
Now, see, that's a key statement. This is in 1934. He's saying our goal or our objective, our protocols are only a few steps away.
Sheesh. There remains a small space to cross.
We got a little bit more to go before we get to where we're going. So here we are 92 years later, and they're there.
Right.
They were there on the precipice in 1934. And they only had a little bit to go, meaning they only had a few more objectives to reach their domination to become the head of the eagle. You understand? Right?
Colonel Khan.
So now, 152. No, 153.
Oh, okay.
Is there anything in 153?
Yeah, Colonel Khan.
Read that.
Colonel Khan. The book of the protocol of the learned elders of Zion, page 153. Abuses of power will put the final touch in preparing all institutions for their overthrow, and everything will fly skyward under the blows of the maddening mob.
So when he says the abuses of power will, meaning that they haven't reached it yet at that time. But what we see today with the abuses of power in politics, in every field of endeavor, in law enforcement, in politics,
right,
in religion, those are the abuses of power. That's going to help them, meaning it's corruption. Everything is corrupt. That's what abuses of power is. Right. If you want to give a summation of what abuses of power is, it's simply corruption. And they've corrupted the whole world. Give me Matthew 24 and 24. Matthew 24 and 24, Baba Kasha. You get me Matthews. You get me Matthews. You get me, where is it at? Hold on a second. It's the one that says, hold on a second, let me get it. 1 John 5, 19 and 20. You get that. Because we got to get the scriptures in there. You understand what I'm saying? Because we gave you the scriptures to open the set. So give me what you got, brother.
Kawakan. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 24. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, all and shall shew great signs and wonders.
They're showing great signs and wonders, man, in the earth right now. AI. Right. You see how they got all those farmers to sell their land? Paid them, I think it was a group of farmers. They paid them like, I don't want to get the number wrong, but it was a lot of money, like $300 million to get their land to build the AI center. Those are the wonders. The military, the technology, those are the signs and the wonders that are spoken of here. Read.
Kawakan. In so much that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
Their game is going to be so good, so well perpetrated, that everybody on this earth, except for the elect, is going to be fooled by it and taken in by it.
That's right.
That's it. That's what it says, right? It says they will fool the whole world, even the elect, if it was possible. But you know why it's not possible to fool the elect? Because we believe in the word of the Most High God.
That's right.
And we don't give a damn about these damn devils. Devils, have fun, do what you will. But Yahushua is coming for your ass.
That's right.
That's the real deal. You understand? Do what you will. You're going to be successful to a point. Even the scriptures say that. Because you're the head of the eagle. You're the chief devils. You got it going on. You understand?
Kawakan.
Now, give me what you got.
Kawakan. It's the book of 1 John chapter 5, verse 19. And we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness.
We know we are God because we know outside of the Isupk, the whole world is wicked.
That's right.
That's what we know. Read it again from the top and all the way through.
Kawakan, book of 1 John chapter 5, verse 19. And we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. Verse 20. And we know that the Son of God is come, and have given us an understanding.
He's given us, Christ has given us, this is why we're able to do this, man.
Most High Christ.
I ain't nothing, man. But the Isupk is something.
Damn right.
And because of the Isupk, men like me can tell you and teach you these things that I was taught. That Christ, read that part again.
Kawakan. And we know that the Son of God is come, and have given us an understanding, that we may know him that is true, and we are in him that is true.
That's right. So everything outside of Christ is a lie.
Damn right.
And wicked. That's why we know we are of God. Because we follow the law, statutes, and commandments. We follow our leader, Commanding General, Your Honor.
That's right.
Who follows Christ, who works for Christ, who works for the Most High. Understand what I'm saying? So that's why we're able to point these things out. We're able to accuse the wicked, the guilty, in righteousness. You understand? That's what it's all about here. You understand? And we're the main victims of all of this. Because the scriptures don't say they plotted against Edom. It doesn't say they plotted against Moab. It doesn't say they plotted against Elam or the East Indies. The scriptures that I brought out, the first 5 scriptures that I brought out today, shows the conspiracy and the plot against God's chosen people. So we're the ones that bear the brunt. We're the permanent underclass in all of this. So they allow certain people to get a bigger piece of the pie, and we get the crumbs. That's what it's all about. You understand?
Good night.
Any more in 53? I think that's it.
Yeah.
Go to page 159, protocol number 4. Page 159, I think it is, yes.
Yep. Oh, starts on.
Okay. So is anything highlighted?
Yeah, Kawakan.
Yeah, so read that, Salaki.
Kawakan. Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, page 158, protocol number 4. Stages of a Republic, Gentile Masonry, Freedom and Faith, International Industrial Competition, Role of Speculation, Cult of Gold.
So, in other words, all of this religious mumbo jumbo is game.
Right.
You understand? They want to get you to become involved in these faiths so they could pull the rug out from under you. You understand? What it is really trying to do, they're going to undermine faith.
Come.
And how do they do it? Through science and technology, where you're going to believe in technology and AI.
Right.
That's going to be your God.
Good night.
Them farmers got them millions. You know, the farmers, first they made the farmers struggle.
Uh-huh.
They struggling to keep that land going. And then they coming in and offer them, hey, man, give me them acres for 11. I give you 11 million.
Shit.
I just read the story today. Anybody could Google it. A group of farmers in Pennsylvania collectively were paid, I think, $396 million. The average one got $11 million. So that they could get that land and build huge, what they call those data centers, AI.
Damn.
You're going to read about that further. So, of course, go ahead.
So like I said, so they're why they gonna get rid of all the farming and our own produce?
Oh, brother, that is a protocol.
Oh, goddamn.
to destroy the farming industry. Okay, I'm gonna give you a little example. When I was a little boy, they came out with the sun-kissed orange. The sun-kissed orange was the first seedless fruit that was marketed to people. And we ran to that store to get that sun-kissed orange.
Right.
And subsequently, since then, when you go to Walmart or any store and you want to buy a seeded watermelon, the natural watermelon with seeds costs more than the genetically modified watermelon. Give him the mic.
Man, we take it back even a little bit further. There's a reason why we don't have any fruit trees that grow naturally anymore. Like you go anywhere else, they got fruit trees that are growing, but they cut all of, I think like the female trees that produce the fruit, they cut all the female trees down.
I hope y'all can hear what this brother is saying. Because this same brother that's talking, I'm about to hire him. I got a peach tree in my backyard. That the fruit is poison. And he's going to come and cut it down for me. That's a hell of a thing to bring out. What he was saying was that they've destroyed the tree's ability because everything in creation has male and female. Everything. Everything, what he says, came in twos. Positive, negative, light, dark, male, female, strong, weak. You understand? So in order for you to keep producing, you have to have a female.
Right.
You have to have a male. That was a hell of a point. That was a hell of a point that brother brought out. And that's the truth. Because when we get into it further, Lord allow, you're going to see that what they really tried to do, what they've done is they've taken control of the food supply.
Come on.
If you can't get no seed, you can't get no weed. Salakia. You understand? But if you can't get seed, right, you can't produce. And if the seed is genetically modified, it can only be produced under certain circumstances. And sometimes you can only get one crop, and the seed ceases to produce. Give me that. Give that brother the mic and let him say that into the mic.
Salakia, when you go to these just anywhere genetically modified fruit, they call it a terminator seed. And so even that seed that you find in it, out of the whole fruit.
Speaking to the mic, we need the people to hear this.
If you get a fruit that's genetically modified, it has no seed, or it has one or two random seeds in it, that seed is called a terminator seed, and it will not produce, or it may produce, like you just said, there's
one crop.
Exactly.
And
after
then
that,
it ain't producing nothing
you
now.
won't ever get any
So
babies.
the control of the food supply is what they've done. And all of you, not me, I hate. If I go to a store and they don't have a watermelon with seed, Yanazar ain't buying the watermelon.
Damn right.
I am not. You understand? Because, I remember when apples was good and sweet and peaches.
Yeah.
And now the apples, the skin on the apple, because of the poison in the atmosphere, the apples now have to make their skin stronger to keep the toxins out. And you're going to see one of the protocols is for them to destroy the food chain so that they can control it. And that's what they've done systemically. Mm-hmm. And now they're buying off all the farmland. And also meat. They're going to control and destroy meat production. It's going to be, $50 for a steak. Right. Yeah. Come on, man. Give him the mic. You understand? You see, these things are being, everybody in here is a seer. You're a potential seer for everybody in here is seeing different things, man. This is a collective. This ain't no joke. You understand what I'm saying? This brother brought up the Terminator seed. God damn. Diabolical. Right? Go ahead and say what you was going to say.
No, I was just saying, because you was talking about the meat supply, and I was saying they're about to start producing a lot more lab-grown meat.
I saw an article, I think it was last week, where I can't remember it, so I ain't gonna speak on it, but it was something pertaining to they've taken it to another level as far as their ability to grow those meat. But I'm not gonna speak on anything that I can't say for sure. But it was something directly connected to what you just said about the meat supply. Because the white man is the devil.
That's right.
The Most High gave us good food. Beautiful, delicious, nutritious, even beautiful to look at. And these devils want to make artificial meat. Right. I'm going to get a little gross with it because General Muhammad, or was it Commander General Yohana, said about the robots the other night. Did y'all see that? He said that they're going to create robots for sexual purposes. The brother saying now, come on now, I don't know nothing about that. Give him the mic.
Nah, I'm not freaked out like that, but they already got them, man. Like, they already out, man. Like,
no kidding.
Yeah.
I promise you, I've never seen that. What? The brother said they got people losing their pensions. Damn. Man, you better grab that little fat girl.
You right.
She's valuable. She might be a little overweight, but she's real.
You can lose that. That's okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Get that real one. Damn, y'all messing me up. I wasn't ready for that.
At Salakia, instead of lab-grown meat, because they always want to put the wording out on their labels, they're gonna call it cell cultivated, and it's like that's gonna be the wave. It's not gonna be like this lab-grown. It's gonna be cell.
It's gonna rename it.
Yeah, cell.
They're gonna make it fair seeming.
Exactly.
To us.
Exactly. Even though it's
man.
And random stuff like that.
Man, oh man. If you gonna tell me the white man ain't the devil? Right. What's that scripture when he said he's gonna exalt himself like to be God? What is that?
Obadiah?
No, not Obadiah. It's another one. I think it's Jeremiah 14. And I think we can start about 16. I think it is Jeremiah 14. Are you going to be like the Most High? I always get Isaiah and Jeremiah mixed up for some reason. Isaiah 14, when he's talking about Lucifer. Read that, brother. Go ahead. Who got the mic? Whoever got the mic, read it.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 14. I will stand above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Verse 15.
Now, the Most High is the creator. So in order for me to be like the Most High, I got to create some fake meat. I got to create a fake woman. God damn. A fake woman, a robot. Nah, nigga, I'd rather die.
Most High Christ.
I'd rather die. I want me a real woman. And man, can you imagine? Yo, y'all done messed me up, man. I ain't know. Hey, Salakia. Okay. Go ahead, brother. Who's reading? No. Isaiah 14.
Okay,
There's more.
I'll go 13, sir.
Go ahead.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
You understand? I'm going to rule over your people, the congregation, from the sides of the north, from the northern hemisphere.
That's right.
I'm going to be like the Most High. Read on.
Verse 14. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
Meaning I don't give a damn. There ain't no Most High. I'm going to be God. Because I'm going to make you some fake meat. Salakia. And pause. Come on, y'all. This is great. I'm glad that these brothers came in here, man, with what they had. They made the class even better. Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shah. You understand? Because that's what it's all about, right? That's what it's all about, right? So now, let's get back. Man, I can't believe it that they already got it. I thought he was. Anyway, let's go on. 159.
Page 159 of the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. This is the reason why it is indispensable for us to undermine all faith.
You understand? You see? How do they undermine all faith? I mean, it's very easy. They put perverts in all the positions.
Right.
And that pervert is going to agree with everything they tell him, or else they're going to destroy his source of income.
That's right.
That's why you got all the gay pastors. You understand what I'm saying? That's why the Roman Catholic Church are pedophiles.
Right.
Because they are the ones that are brought into those positions. They gravitate to those positions because what that position offers them. It offers them sexual deviancy and the guise of righteousness. You understand? That's what it's talking about.
Oh, God.
You understand? That's why you see all of these gay men in the church, in the choir. You understand? Hey. Yeah. They got some hay for your ass.
Yo.
You understand? They are put in those positions. This is the corruption of it. So now what are they going to do? They're going to funnel you into a different kind of faith where you're going to believe in different kind of people. They're going to appear different, but they're going to be the same. Read on.
To tear of minds out of the goyim the very principle of Godhead.
You understand? To destroy the idea that there's a God.
Good night.
Because we got AI. We can make fake meat. I ain't getting over that one, y'all.
Yeah, word.
I can make a fake woman. We don't need no damn God. We are God. All these things that God made, we can make better. We could give you a watermelon with no seeds and you'll still eat it.
Right.
Even though I asked Commander General Yohana directly about this years ago. And I said, Commander General Yohana, the Bible says that fruit without seed is unlawful. And Commander General Yohana, in his mercy and his wisdom, says, don't worry about it. We can't get around it. But so much. That's what he told me. He said, we can't get around it, but don't worry about that. You understand what I'm saying? That's the consequence of the destruction of the polluters of the earth. Right. See, they're not going to get away with it. And if it wasn't for the ISUPK, Lord in Christ, General Yohana, the ISUPK, we wouldn't have understood none of this. I know I wouldn't. You understand? Got a little more? Come on with it.
To tear out the very principle of Godhead and the Spirit, and to put in its place arithmetical calculations and material needs.
Science. That's what that means. So they're going to destroy the spirit that comes from righteousness in God and replace it with AI and material things. I got to say it one more time. The brother said that people are losing their pensions over AI. What kind of woman is it again? A sex doll. I ain't losing my pension over a real woman, let alone. God, mighty Lord. This is amazing.
God damn.
You back on that side? I'm trying to get it back on this side. Okay, we back over here. I got to tell Tabawan it might be on a timer or something.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like a regular interval. Okay? Right. So read on, brother.
Oh, that was it.
Okay, so now, give me Matthew. Who got the mic? Give me Matthew 21, 38 through 41. 38 through 41. Now, we might go over 10 minutes. I got 12 protocols. 12 of their objectives was part of this class. But these brothers have come in here and contributed so much that we might only do up to 6. But I guarantee you there's going to be at least part 2. Next week, Lord allow. Salakia, Matthew 21, 38 through 41. Matthew, and I'm going to get there with you. Matthew 28. I'm sorry. Matthew 21, the water, brother. 38 through 41. Okay? Read that.
Come on. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 21, verse 38. But when the husbandmen saw the son, they said among themselves, "This is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and let us seize on his inheritance."
So let's see what that really means. Who's the heir in this analogy? Who's the heir? You. We're the heir. We're the heir. Christ only came for the Israelites.
That's right.
So who's the heir here? It's you. You're the heir. But the husbandmen saw, right, the son, and they said among themselves, you understand? The ones that's planting, those are the husbands that's plotting. They said among themselves, "This is the heir. Come, let us kill him and let us see." I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead and read it. Salakia.
And let us seize on his inheritance.
So now they've destroyed us and they're seizing and prospering off of our inheritance, our land, our name, our religion, and a bastardized version of our language. The head of the eagle, the chief house of Satan, the chief devils. Read on.
Come, verse 39. And they caught him and cast him out of the vineyard.
They caught us and threw us out of our land. Did they not?
That's right.
Read.
And slew him.
And slew us, man. The slaughter in 70 AD in Jerusalem was just about everybody that they trapped in the city. Brothers was fleeing the city through the sewer system to get away. But those that are fled to the mountains, who listened to Christ and fled to the hills, those were the ones that fled. You couldn't flee north for the most part because the Romans coming from the north. So we fled into Africa.
Okay.
Because they want, hey, we can kill these niggas off now. We used to have a little respect for their God, but we done whatever we want to them. So their God must be fake. So let's kill them. Let's bump them off so we can steal their inheritance.
Damn.
And that's what they've done. Read on.
Come. Verse 40. When the Lord therefore of the vineyard cometh, what will he do unto those husbandmen?
That's what I'm talking about.
Damn right.
That's why with confidence, with supreme confidence, I could speak about the return of Christ. That's what he's talking about right here. When y'all did what y'all did to us, what do you think the Most High is going to do when he comes back for you?
That's right.
What do you think he's going to do? He already told us what he's going to do. You're going into captivity, and a hell of a lot. Most of you are going to be burnt up.
Ooh-wee.
When the Lord therefore of the vineyard cometh, what will he do unto the husbandmen, to them niggas that planted the seed, the lies? Read verse 41, Baba Kashah.
Come, verse 41. They say unto him, he will miserably destroy those wicked men, and will let out his vineyard unto other husbandmen, which shall render him the fruits in their season.
You understand? So that's talking about righteousness. These husbandmen are going to render the good fruit. It ain't going to be no more Terminator seed.
Good night.
Ain't going to be no more fake woman. Ain't going to be no more robot to have sex with. Can you imagine the madness of that? The evil of it. Where you take the device of pleasure and bring it forth life, and you make an artificial version of it and sell it to man against God. And you think that you're going to get away with this? I just wanted to make sure I brought that one out. Because I truly, you understand, have been taught to understand. Right?
Okay.
We've been taught to truly understand these scriptures, man.
Damn right.
And apply them, you understand, wherever they fit. And whoever fits the bill, that's who we talking about. You understand? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom and knowledge. You understand? So let's go back to page 159. For time's sake,
I believe that, that was it.
Go to page, this is the fifth protocol. This will be the last one before we have to close it out.
Come on, sir.
But this one here, read.
Come
On page 161.
Okay, so skip.
160. Okay, so you're going to read the red and then the two highlighted versions, okay?
Come.
Because this particular protocol is called the creation of the centralization of governments. This is the objective, right?
Come.
That's what the Trump administration is all about. You understand?
Yeah.
Read.
Come. Page 160 of the protocols of the learned elders of Zion. Protocol number 5. We shall regulate mechanically all the actions of the political life of our subjects by new laws.
You understand? Mechanically means it's going to operate like a machine. You're going to go along with it.
Right.
They're going to set it up, and you're going to be a puppet. Mechanical. The mechanism. You understand?
Good
of it.
night.
Read on.
Come. These laws will withdraw one by one all the indulgences and liberties which have been permitted by the Goyim.
You understand? DEI, affirmative action. All of these programs, you used to go to prison and you could learn a trade and come out and get a job. Can't do that shit no more.
Oh, no.
So all of these things that they presented to us as liberalism, which they financed, they take it away from you now. So now you become more mentally dependent on the system that they're creating for you, and you think it's good. This is progress. A fake woman, oh, she don't talk back. She don't do nothing but what I tell her to do for as long as I want her to do it.
Oh, gee.
Man, I don't care if she could yell all day. She better than that fake bitch.
Damn right.
Salakia. You understand? Read on, brother.
Come. The holy unction of the Lord's anointed has fallen from the heads of kings.
You understand? The unction is the idea. You understand? Of the holy people or good people is gone. Because they're destroying people's perception of what's right and wrong. And when the Most High wanted us to rule, is because of the opposite reason. He wanted us to spread the righteousness out from our example. So what they're doing is the opposite. They're setting out the wickedness at their example.
Right.
By the system that they set up. The chief devils. The head of the eagle. Read on.
Khan, has fallen from the heads of kings in the eyes of the people.
Understand that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. The righteousness of Israel, the reputation and the laws wiped out. Because that was the basis of morality throughout the earth, man.
Khan.
God's law, man. God's law was here before Moses.
Right.
I'm preparing a class on that subject. Coming your way very soon, Lord allow. So, read on.
Khan. And when we also robbed them of their faith in God, the might of power was flung upon the streets into the place of public proprietorship and was seized by us.
Understand? A private ownership and control over religion. Not only religion, but in property. And what did they do? They got them farmers to sell that land. And it's going to be controlled by us. You see what I'm saying? It ain't, they starved the farmer out. He had to go get loans and shit. Well, hey, farmer, you done worked hard, man. Let me give you some money, man. You go and live, take this 11 million and get on and live good for the rest of your life. But the totality of the land and what they're going to create, oh, man, they're creating this to enslave the world.
Right.
That's what we're reading about in Matthew 24 and 24. Okay.
It's got like one more part.
Yeah, one more part, and then I'm going to go with one more scriptures, right?
Khan.
And then we're going to shut it down. To be continued.
Most high correct.
Go ahead.
Khan. For a time, perhaps, we might be successfully dealt with by a coalition with Goyim.
You understand? A coalition of nations is going to be down with them. They're going to control a coalition of nations, United Nations. You understand?
Right.
Any more?
Khan. A coalition of the Goyim of all the world.
Goyim are the heathen, the other nations, right?
But from this danger, we are secured by the discord existing among them.
You understand? The confusion and the battling between the Republicans and the Democrats.
Right.
Against the secular and the religion. They foster these things because they control the media. They control television.
Right.
They control Hollywood.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I noticed like on my news feed, like everything that's coming out about black people is some negative crime shit. Everything about white people is inventions, and you understand. You ever go down your Google News line and see what I'm talking about. Ain't no damn accident.
Right.
You the criminal, and I'm gonna make sure you understand that you're the goddamn criminal. That's what they want to do. But you are not the criminal. You're the victim of a criminal conspiracy that permeates the whole earth. You understand? This is their own words.
That's right.
This was translated. They had the first Zionist conference in August the 29th through the 31st in 1897. And this book here was written in 1934. You understand? And it was translated, according to what the book says, from Russian into English. This is their own words. It's the only time they're telling the truth is when they speak evil.
Right.
When they speak in evil, they telling the truth. When they speak in righteousness, they lying.
That's right.
Because the truth is not in them.
Right.
According to Christ. You understand? Okay. I want my show. Give me John 10 and 10. And then I'm gonna make a comment, and then we're gonna shut it down. You understand? Because we over the time. And me, I can go on for 2 more hours. But I can't. Because this class is from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then Captain Natak let us go over a little bit. We don't go over too much. Or then we get a phone call. Okay. So let's go.
This book of John, chapter 10, verse 10. The thief cometh not, but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly.
You understand? You understand? The thief only comes to steal and rob and kill, man. He uses oppression and robbery to destroy the people that stand in his way, or I'm gonna bring out one more word. The proliterate or proletarat. That's it. The proletariat, the water. And what the proletariat is the people that are exploited by the rich. That's a class of people, you understand, who earn their living selling their labor. The exploited class. That's what they created. Remember, there used to be upward mobility in America according to your work ethic and your natural ability. Not no more. I don't care how smart you are. Unless the oppressor can make money off of you, you're going to stay at one level.
Right.
You're going to be able to eat and pay your bills. That's the proletariat. Did I say it right?
Proletariat. Yeah.
Proletariat.
Kind.
All right, y'all. All right. So when I talk to my people, when we in ISUPK talk to our people, we talk to our people through the scriptures. And the scripture says that he's given us every similitude. Meaning no matter what's happening on the earth, he got it.
Right.
In this Bible. Understand what I'm saying? We just have to study ourselves to show ourselves approved.
That's right.
We have to teach. First of all, be taught. And then teach those things that we're taught. According to our ability and our spirit. Right? That's what we do. We've identified these devils. Christ identified them first for us. And now we're at the summation. The end of everything written in this Bible. We're at the end, the culmination of the truth. It's coming on the earth. Understand? And guess what? We on the good side. We on the right side of God. We are against these damn devils, and we stand up and speak out against them to the best of our ability. You understand? And with that, I'm going to pass the class over to priest and officer. My Ashar, the water for everybody that, you understand, I'm going to tell you something real quick. You know, I had to get permission to do this class because this is a heavy subject. And I got the permission. And this class was in preparation for like 6 months. And I got 6 months more. But we'll do part 2 next week, Lord allow. All right, and with that, shalom, y'all. I'll pass the class over to priest and officer Mike Sharp. All right, clap it up. Hey, yo, hey, let's get them likes up, man. Get them likes up, man. You understand? Get this word out. That's all it's about. All right.
Damn right. Security announcements. Khan. We're the ISUPK, start our 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Means 10th in the Hebrew is pronounced ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, you give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offer for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you'd like to give. Upcoming holy convocation, be the memorial blowing of the trumpets going down September the 11th. So get with your camp leader to find out more information and details about that. Remind Akim and Aquathian to check on social media, such as isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wishes to be a trooper in the school, Need to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headbands, or scarf. And with that, I margin, which means to stand. Men of Israel, Sar turn and face the teacher. Men of Israel, we give one courtesy salute unto our teacher. Men of Israel, Ahmad Shabbat, Ahmadjam, Barak. Yajamata hands down, Sar turn and face the sisters. Men of Israel, we give one courtesy salute unto our sisters. Men of Israel, Ahmad Shabbat, Ahmadjam, Barak. Yajamata hands down, class dismissed.